Hi, welcome to the Witch House. Pull up a chair, have a sit, and let's chat. And today I am going to be talking about my health and my health journey, which I started about 3 months ago. So, you've all seen the title now, which is Oh My God, the Witch is Gone Vegan. So, if it's not your bag, go ahead and pass it up. I know it's not tarot. I know it's not witchcraft. But if you're interested in me and what's happening and what I'm doing, then by all means, hang around. If you're a new vegan, welcome. If you're a seasoned vegan, please welcome. Uh, I am still in the information gathering phase, always gathering information because there is way more to this than I ever imagined. So, I'm going to start at the beginning. I have several ailments. I am a diabetic and an asthmatic. And although I know that I quit smoking 6 years ago, yay me, but the asthma is never going to leave. Fortunately, though, for me, my asthma has gone from moderate to high, which is what I was initially dealing with, to down to mild. So I now have mild asthma, which I'm thrilled about. I'll hang on to it. But the diabetes. Now, I have been diagnosed a type 2 diabetic for about 6 or 7 years now. And frankly, I have not done a very good job of taking care of myself. I don't need insulin. I take the standard metformin pills, which most type 2 diabetics do. But I'm concerned at this stage what that may turn into since it's already been 6 or 7 years. And of course, I had it initially under control, but as I started taking care of my aging parents, my health got progressively worse because what do? The first thing we do is we neglect our own health for those we are caring for. So, for at least the last 3 or 4 years, I really have not been taking care of my health at all. I've been eating, lots of junk food, lots of sugar, lots of meat, all of the stuff, saturated fats, everything that's bad for you. That's what I ate. So I lost my mom in 2016. And not shortly, it was 3 years after. No, 2 years after. 2 years after my mom, the love of my life passed away. And that was in November of last year. And so now I have no one to take care of but me. And starting the journey, figuring out who I am and what I want to do with my life, now that it is just me, I have nobody to take care of anymore. So, yeah. And the way this actually started was back in June. I went and had my annual blood test. As a diabetic, every year you have to get a blood test, and it checks what your blood sugar average has been, and it's called an A1C, and that shows what your blood sugar has been over the last 3 months. And then, because it's a fasting blood test, it shows what your sugar is, what your glucose levels are the morning you take the test because you fast for like 12 hours. So I did that, and my June test results came back, and I've written them down here. My A1C was 7.1. Well, for normal people, it's under 5.7. So it was rather high. And for diabetics, they even suggest under 6 at least. So my A1C was not very good, which I already knew because I'd been just eating a shit ton of crap food. My cholesterol, which has always been high, and I'm one of the people who cannot take statins. because that it immediately starts to eat my muscles. And so I can't take statins. So my cholesterol level was 220. My triglycerides, those weren't too bad. That was 112. My LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol, was 124. And my HDL, good cholesterol, was 74. So what I should say is my cholesterol was 220. The average or the acceptable range is under 200. Triglycerides, mine were 112. Acceptable average was under 150. Bad cholesterol, which was LDL, is 124, and the acceptable range is under 100. And the good cholesterol of HDL acceptable is more than 50, and mine was 74. So my cholesterol was pretty high. My triglycerides weren't too bad. My bad cholesterol was a little high, and my good cholesterol was in a good range. It was more than 50. So the overall cholesterol they were really concerned about. And of course, most of all for me, I was concerned about my A1C. 7.1 is pretty darn high for a diabetic who's on oral medication. So I got to, I don't know, I was thinking about it, and one morning I literally woke up and decided or felt I eat very much by emotion. It's all about what I feel like. What I can taste in my mouth is what I want to eat. So that's how I've eaten. And with that, I woke up one morning and I seriously didn't want another burger. It's like I can't take another burger. I don't want another chicken breast. I'm so sick of steak. I just don't want this. And so I sat with that idea for a little while. And then I thought to myself, well, I don't have any family dragging me down on this issue now. If I want to eat plant-based, go vegan, I can do that without pissing off everybody else who were very heavy meat eaters. Every meal it was meat and potatoes, every meal. So I decided that was what I was going to do, and so I did. I started out by cleaning out my refrigerator. Now, I hate throwing out food. I hate wasting food. I always have. My mom was like that too. Didn't like to waste food. So what I did was the things I didn't use, that I had in my pantry and refrigerator and whatnot, I actually took into my office because where I work, it is me and 13 men. And so, and several of them are singles, so they were more than happy to take those items off my hand. Not a problem. So that was great. I felt better, doing that. And then I, of course, started watching lots of vegan YouTube channels to figure out my next moves and things like this. I'm fortunate that I have a friend who has been a 30-year vegan, and he suggested that I get Dr. Neil Barnard's Reversing Diabetes book. It's all about plant-based eating, vegan eating, what I should be eating, and it's specifically geared towards diabetics. Whereas I'm sure most of you have heard of the Starch Solution by Dr. John McDougall, which is also fabulous and actually almost the same kind of eating habits, not plan, eating habits that Dr. Barnard discussed in his book. I should have brought both of those books out. Hold that thought. right. I keep them close by. So here is the book from Dr. Neil Bernard. You can see I've already got my flaggies going in it here. And, you can get this on Amazon, Thrift Books. This is where I got mine. I got mine at Thrift Books. eBay even. And then here is The Starch Solution by Dr. John McDougall. And same thing. You can find it, Thrift Books, eBay, what have you. But these are two good, really good books to start with. And then methodically, I started switching out my pantry and buying things like all different kinds of beans and lentils. I got all different kinds of rice and grains, quinoa, quinoa. But does anybody remember when that first came out and everybody was calling it quinoa? So I've got, quinoa and rice and what else do I have? Pasta. Most pasta is vegan, although you do have to look because some do still have egg in it. But pasta. So I got that. And then the cans. Cans of, I've noticed vegans use tomatoes a lot. Tomatoes are in almost every dish I've found. So you're going to need, fire roasted potatoes, diced tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste. But it's all really good once you combine it. Beans. I've stocked up on cans of beans, black beans, cannellini beans, navy beans, pinto beans. You can buy some in the can. You can get some dried where you can soak them overnight and cook them yourself. I have a mix of both, actually. So it took me a while to figure a lot of those things out. It also is, vegans use a lot of sauces. They love their sauces. So you also have to be careful about that. Because I noticed things like I like Worcestershire sauce has anchovies in it. But you can find Worcestershire sauce without the anchovies. That would be considered vegan. So if you're going vegetarian to start, which is something I did as well. I started off going vegetarian. I wasn't eating meat with the exception of maybe a little fish and lots of vegetables and rice and pasta and potatoes and stuff. So you can start off going vegetarian until you kind of get the lay of the land. And it's taken me, I've been doing this for 3 months now. And it's taken me that long to finally get comfortable enough with most of the products. I will say the first month I did awesome. It was great, no problem. The second month, halfway through, I did really good. And then I started discovering vegan junk food. Don't go down the rabbit hole, folks. Don't go down the rabbit hole. If you want to lose weight, which is something I want to do with this, and improve your health, vegan junk food is not the way to go. And they've made stuff that is just as delicious as the regular products that have the dairy and stuff in it. So I have just recently figured out what I've been doing, and it's like, okay, I'll stop. So I have started over again with, when I eat at home, it's all vegan. All the products in my house are all vegan and everything. When I go out, the only thing I have to do to veganize something is to, no sour cream, no cheese. And I'll be honest, I haven't been good about it. I'm a cheeseaholic. Plain and simple, It was very easy for me to give up the dairy or give up the meat, but it hasn't been so easy for me to give up dairy, and I'm working on it. I'm constantly a work in progress. So I call myself vegan, whole food, plant-based, but I'm striving to be that that better person. And, it started out being about health for me and feeling better, which I do already. But I've also discovered more things about the environment and the planet by going whole food, plant based. And that makes me feel good too, after all the years of, meat eating and stuff, and to understand. And as a witch, it brings me closer to the earth. The earth is in trouble. We have used and abused so many of her resources that we're killing this planet. And we need more people to do this. Now, or to do something to help the environment, because it might not happen in our time, but your children's children are not going to have a sustainable planet to live on unless somebody starts doing something. That's what I think, anyway. So, consequently, I have done the vegan thing for the last 3 months. I had blood test done again last week, and I just got my results today. So, my glucose when I went to the doctor was 133. Normal is under 100. June, mine was 175. So there's a drop in my glucose levels. Cholesterol was 205. The average or the acceptable range is under 200, and in June it was 220. Win for me, right? Triglycerides. So in June they were 112. Now they're 179, and they're supposed to be less than 150. So my triglycerides went up. And I know why that is, because I'm eating too much freaking dairy still. So that's a cutoff. I have made a promise. No more dairy. No more dairy. My bad cholesterol, the LDL, is in September was 110. Average or best case is under 100. So mine was 110. In June, it was 124. So the bad cholesterol is gone down. However, my HDL, which is the good cholesterol, needs to be above 50. It was 65 last week. It was 65, which is still in the good range. However, in June, it was 74. So my good cholesterol has gone down as well. And I'm absolutely certain it's because that freaking dairy. And damn dairy. So we're getting rid of the dairy. I have no dairy in my house. My whole house is vegan. But there's a problem when I go out to eat, because we don't readily have vegan restaurants very close to where I live. So I have to go to like regular chain restaurants and try and manipulate the menus so that I can eat there. So what this tells me is I eat out less than what I have been, because I've been eating out probably 2 to 3 nights a week, and I need to stop that, because the first month I decided to do this, I ate home most of the time, with only eating out maybe once a week, and everything was fine. I was losing weight. I'm not losing weight anymore, and you can see my triglycerides and my good cholesterol went down, and so we're going to fix this in the next few months, but it's a process. And so that's where I'm at right now. All my numbers, as far as I'm concerned, I think look pretty darn good. And I'm hoping that my doctor will be happy with this progress. And yeah, so again, if you're vegan and have some good tips for me, please let me know down in the comments. If you're just starting out and you have questions, please ask some in the comments. One last thing I will say is that I'm finding out almost every vegan needs an instant pot and an air fryer. So I have both. I have the small version. I have the 3-quart instant pot, and I have the 1.9-quart air fryer. Small enough for 1 or 2 people. That's all you need. Doesn't take up much counter space. And I really like them. I haven't turned my stove on very much at all. So, yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. And we'll see what happens in the next 3 months. Sending you all much chakra love. And I'll see you on the next one.